Hey, everybody. Welcome to 2022. You see a third face on the screen. Not going to be a regular guest, but just a great way to start the new year. We have Roy, as you see on there. Sturgeon. Roy is the subject of an article that we put up on horse racing today. Got a ton of really good feedback so far on our social sites. Roy, what did you think about the feedback you've seen so far?
It's been really good, and everybody that we shared it up with has been really well received up here.
When you say up here, you're in Alberta, Canada, right?
Yeah.
We would have never guessed. So tell us a little bit about Flying Cross Ranch. And if you head on over to horseracingtoday.net, you'll see Horse Racing for Life. Roy's been around the horse racing game since he was, 6 years old, right? Probably even before that, I'd imagine. That's just when you start to remember.
Yeah, I grew up with it my whole life. Like my dad ran pony wagons for years, and I started riding his ponies when I was 6 in races, and then went to the track and started galloping when I was 15. And when I turned 16, I started riding races.
Yes, you were one of the youngest, smallest racers, jockeys, if I remember from the article, right?
Yeah, I was. I was the latest guy to ever ride in Western Canada when I started.
Under 100 pounds. I think I remember it said 93 pounds, right?
I could tack 93 pounds. I rode several horses at that weight.
So I don't know. I was going to go. That's half of me, man. Right? I don't know about you, Terry.
Well, it is
like my left leg.
It's a third of me.
I remember in high school we had Mike Munchak, who was a family friend of one of my good friends, Pete Lasher. Growing up, Mike Munchak is an All-Pro lineman, if you remember, for the Houston Oilers at the time.
Yep.
And he came to our football, like our last meeting of the year. Type thing, before we headed off to wrestling and basketball and whatever else we did in the wintertime. Then Mike Munchak came in. I just bring this up because there's two of you. His legs, when I was in high school, I had like a 32 waist. His thighs were 30. His thighs were bigger than my waist. Unbelievable. So tell us about Flying Cross Ranch. What's going on there, Roy?
So we basically run a lesson program in the barn, and we do riding lessons, and we started doing this racing program for the kids more for fun. And the first time we actually started to do some stuff, we did it as a charity event for some people that were in the barn. So that's kind of how it evolved.
So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Can these horses handle some folks like Terry and myself that you use for the races? I know I read an article.
Yeah.
You don't use thoroughbreds because there are no whips and these horses just want to woo. So
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't want to be one of those, but Can folks like Terry and I get on these horses?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, that's all we use to race. We use our lesson horses. You know, like they go fast enough, and these kids race hard as it is, but our track is small, and they don't need to be riding thoroughbreds on this track. It's just they're just too fast and too much for them. Like our range of kids are from 8 years old to 23.
Well, we're kind of kids too. That's the thing they say about guys, right? We never grow up. So
right,
we stay kids from birth to death.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is I was thinking maybe somewhere down the line we can have like all the people from the Players Edge podcast, myself, Terry, Sean, the one who's been in communications with you, put the wonderful article together, and Tom. Maybe we can make a trip when we're allowed to travel again, whenever that is, up to Alberta, and we can have like a Players Edge stakes race up there at your farm.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think about that?
Absolutely.
That would be hilarious. Then we can find out who really is the best horse player in the group, right?
Right.
That's right.
For sure. So in terms of what you have plans going forward, tell us a little bit about what's like on your 22 to-do list.
We're actually started. We gallop the horses. The kids were galloping on the weekend again. We'll kind of play around here a little bit for the next month. We ended up with COVID changing our format. We now do tailgate derbies in the infield. Everybody just kind of comes and parks and watches the kids. We'll do a lot more of that. We've tentatively been invited to go race at a couple different venues this summer. We'll see a little bit more about that, in the coming year here once, the new year kind of gets ironed out, and then we'll go from there.
I see. So now from your experience with these kids, how has it, positively impacted some of these children and adults too? I mean, 23 is not a kid anymore, although you still qualify for your parents' insurance down here.
Right. It's a very cool program. Like they have to be in the barn. They have to do chores. They have to look after their horses. We do kind of a cool thing when it's all said and done. Every day when we're done, everybody stands around and we've got like a word board. So we grab a word off the board and everybody just kind of goes through it. We talk to all the parents and the kids and everybody picks a word and, and we go around and saying what happened that was good that day or what we need to work on or whatever. And it's turned into a pretty cool thing. It's a very tight community. All the parents, they're here every day when we race. We've got lots of volunteers that just come that have no kids at all involved in the program. So it's pretty cool.
So in terms of the tracks that you might be going to, any big ones in mind or that you're working with?
Not really so much yet. We were invited last year to race at the Ponoka Stampede before the wagons. There's a little bit of talk of maybe going back there again this year and then a couple other places for them guys like before the wagons run. And that's kind of where we're sitting at right now.
All right. Do you still play the horses or do you don't pay attention to the thoroughbreds?
Not much anymore. Honestly, my involvement there is quite small anymore. Like I still have, some really good friends and stuff there, but we're busy enough here that I pretty much focus on, our business here and racing here in our program.
Sounds like it. Well, one thing's for sure. When Terry, Tom, Sean, and myself show up there, cleaning the barn part, I'm going to leave all that work to Terry.
That's okay.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah.
So if you had one word that you would say over the years, since you brought up the word at the end, to describe like what's happened to you in the world of horse racing, what would it be?
Oh, probably a few. Like I think.
Well, I only gave you one, so we'll give you one at a time. Go ahead. Start with the first one.
I would think I got to live my dream. A lot of people can't say that. I always wanted to be a jockey as a kid, and I got to grow up and I got to do that. I pursued that at the track, and now I get to show that to these kids.
So, in other words, you never worked a day in your life.
No, not really.
That's what they say, right? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I wasn't trying to be a smart ass, although I am usually one of those.
And this program, truthfully, has taken on a life of its own. We started doing it just for kind of fun, and like we've been invited to go to a few places. Like like it said in the article, we went to Santa Anita last year and we spent the day with Mike Smith and Iggy down there, and then a couple of days later we went over to Los Al and we spent the night with Cece there, and lots of different people in the people all over the world are commenting on these kids and what they do. And it's pretty cool just to watch the progression of these kids, especially last year, when we got ready to go to Ponoka. They rode every day for 6 weeks, these kids getting ready to go. And by the time we were ready to go, like these kids could ride as good as anybody anywhere. Like they ride.
Fantastic. Any of them have aspirations to be jockeys for a vocation?
There's a couple that would, maybe in time would pursue it. The trouble with up here, our industry is getting a lot smaller. So for that to happen, they would have to, either go east like to Toronto, or they would have to go to the States. Not that they can't make it here, but we just don't have enough days anymore, which is unfortunate.
Seems to be a problem for horse racing in a lot of different places, right? And then you have external forces that are also trying to close down, like in states where it's still successful, like California and New York. You have states where folks are still trying to get rid of it altogether. We have Lolo saying, hello, folks. Happy New Year. Hello, Lolo. How are you? Good to see you back. All right, Roy, we appreciate your time. Any parting thoughts before we let you get back to your day?
No, just that we're going to, go forward with the program, do more with the kids, and I guess we'll carry on from there.
And if people want to maybe, I don't know, help out or contribute, I don't know if you take donations or anything like that. We didn't talk about that before. But if people want to help you, where can they do that?
Just info@flyingcrossranch.com.
info@flyingcrossranch.com. We'll make sure to put a link to that in today's info@flyingcrossranch.com. We'll put a link to that in today's summary over at horseracingtoday.net. I'll also put it in the description here on YouTube. I'll have Sean add it and Facebook and social media with Twitter as well. Roy, we appreciate you joining us. Best of luck, and hopefully we'll have you back for an update of how things go.
Okay, thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Have a wonderful and fantastic 2022. Sorry, Terry.
That's all right. For me, Roy, I love what you do with the kids. It's really impressive to me, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a fantastic day.
Okay, you guys too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
So Terry, this is a new year for you and I as well, right? That was a fun story, right?
It was.
How things just kind of evolve. Like you start off with one idea in mind, and then things evolve into something that you never expected, which is kind of how this show has gone as well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Because we had some ideas and then we had other ideas, and as we worked through them, different things happened. So one of the things we've noticed is that perhaps people want more picks, not just a few picks, right, Terry? So we've decided to go with full card picks. So we're going to do Fairgrounds today, which is the big track out there. Before we get to that, I mean, it's the you probably have the biggest money pools today. Before we get to that, Terry, tell me a little bit about your New Year's. What happened there?
Well, my wife and I just stayed home, and basically she makes me stay up until the ball drops. I always want to go to bed. I said, if you've seen it drop once, you've seen it 100 times. But I stay up with her, and we watch the ball drop. And then the next day, we just
that's only like 9 o'clock for you, Terry, when the ball drops.
That's right.
You're out on the West Coast, man.
Yeah, but
it's not even staying up late.
She makes me stay up till midnight, though.
I see.
So that we can watch it at the traditional midnight time for here. But and then the next day we just kind of chilled out, and I watched some of the races, and we played some games together, that sort of thing. So
sounds good. For me, I was just trying to get over whatever it is I got. You can still hear it in my very white voice, but hopefully, I know I'm definitely on the other side of whatever it was. So I didn't have time to go get tested to see anything along those lines. All right. So what we're going to do are full card picks today, Terry. So we're going to do them at Fairgrounds, as I mentioned. So let's pull them up, Terry. Here are our full card picks for Fairgrounds today, Terry. Okay. So let's get started in race number 1. Race number 1, Terry, is 5.5 furlongs, as you can imagine. Favor speed. Tell us a little bit about the horses that you have and why you picked them.
All right. Number 8, Battle of Will. I like this horse because he's got a really good trainer in Brett Calhoun, who's winning at a 22% clip. The last race, he ran 6 by 11, but he came 5 wide into the turn. He switches to a high percentage jockey. He drops in class today, and he's got the best dirt speed among today's starters. So, and then I like number 7, Waiting on a Woman. Has the highest last speed rating.
Sounds like your New Year's.
Yeah. I was waiting on my woman. Anyway, he ran a really good race at Fairgrounds last time. Ran second, beaten by 3.5 lengths. And then I like number 9, Battle of Will. I'm sorry. That's not the right one.
Number 9?
Number 8.
Right one?
Number 8. I already talked about that.
Well, you have number 9 in your picture.
Yeah, number 9, my pal Greeley. The trainer is 18% of the time when he brings the horse back the third time after a layoff. Ran a good 5th or 3rd by 5 lengths last time out at really high odds at 81-1. And that was at Fairgrounds. And then my final choice is number 4, Diesel Jack. And Diesel Jack, he ran a pretty poor race last race, but he broke really slow. And I expect him to break better than that this time. And the trainer wins 20% of the time, and he goes from a maiden to a maiden claim.
Yeah, I think this race is pretty wide open. We agree on the 8, the 7, and the 4. I also have the 2 in my picks. That is R and R Star. I like the fact that James Graham, one of the top jockeys there, is getting back on the horse. He rode the horse 2 races back. So last time the horse ran in a sprint, 6 furlongs was the shortest race that he ran. Going to be a little bit more of a closer than he will be a speed horse. Although if you look a little bit further back in the past performances, R and R Star did show a little bit of early pace, and it did run its best number ever under James Graham. So I'm hoping that James Graham at a nice price at 12-1 can get that horse out of the gates and off to the races pretty quickly. Battle of Will, obviously the horse is dropping in class, Terry, moving that from that maiden special weight all the way down to maiden claiming, as our friend Tom Carley says, biggest drop in horse racing. Ray Lou Gutierrez has been on fire wherever he's run. Waiting on a Woman, Terry, is a horse that should also be closing, Terry. looking at the numbers last time out, all improved in the second start relative to the first start. I like to see that. And Diesel Jack, just kind of rewinding back to that debut where the horse showed some speed and had one of the top speed figures in the debut race, headed to the bench, and is another one that's making that big drop from maiden claiming to maiden special weight to maiden claiming. Race number 2, Terry, is another race that's let me pull up the conditions for race number 2. Race number 2 is a 5 furlong race claiming on the turf. What do you like? And this is the one you used for your box it up, right, Terry?
That's correct. Yes, I did. I like number 5, Hug the Money. And Hug the Money has the highest last speed rating. Drops in class today. It's won 2 races in a row, going for a hat trick. And it won its last race on the dirt, but it likes the turf. It is 5 out of 9 in the money on the turf, winning 3 of those. And then I like number 2, Just Blaze. Just Blaze is on the rail there and has won. The rail has been winning at a 19% clip. He closed at Fairgrounds at turf at 5.5 furlongs and won by a neck. And then I like number 8, Cruise.
High Cruise?
High Cruise, yeah. And High Cruise shows plenty of early speed. Ran in a turf race, second turf race, and seemed to take to it pretty well. It ran third, only beaten half a length. And then I like number 10, Club Soda. Club Soda won its last race on top, breaking on top at 6 furlongs, and won it pretty easily at a length and 3/4. It's been the favorite 5 races in a row. So if are we?
So you're expecting the horse will probably live up to those odds one of these days, right?
Yeah, and we're not on the turf. We're off the turf, right? So that's why this horse.
Oh yeah, so that we are off the turf, main track. Yes, indeed, there's a lot going on in our new day, and was claimed last time out. First time after a claim for trainer Joe Sharp is a 20% hit. Third off a layoff, the horse did show some improvement in race number 2 compared to race number 1. So maybe you see in the third cycle. You and I agree on this race, Terry, in terms of our picks. We do the box it up. That's 4 horses for $1 exacta box, 50 cents trifecta box, 10 cents superfecta box. Hopefully we can hit all 3 of those. So that's for Terry. Race number 2 is his box it up. We agree on the horses. Race number 3, Terry, we both agree this is our best bet for the day. Number 7 is the best bet of the day. Tell us why you like number 7 as your best bet on the card in this claiming $15,000 6 furlong race at Fairgrounds.
Well, first of all, his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. He's won 2 out of the last 3 races, and as a matter of fact, he's been in the money the last 6 races. And the 2 races he won, he broke on top and won them pretty darn easily. Been the favorite the last 4 times in a row. He has the highest last speed rating. So,
yes, he does indeed have the highest last speed rating. The reason it's making us dizzy moving this around, but the reason I like this horse is because speed does matter at this distance. 72, they run 72 races. About 40% of them, Terry, have been won by speed. Citizen West last time out, Terry, wire to wire. The last 3 races, as a matter of fact, was on the lead out of the gates. Second race off a layoff. The horse should improve according to its resume. So that's why I like. Now you finish out your picks with the 1, the 6, and the 3. What do you like about any of those horses?
Well, on the 1, I like the fact that it's finished third 2 times in a row. Came in from Hawthorne and ran at Fairgrounds and did a nice run there. And then number 6, Murdo.
Number 6, Murdo. Yes, just Murdo. Just like Weirdo, but with an M, Murdo.
Yeah. Well, he shows plenty. He shows that he can go close to the pace, or he can come from slightly off from behind. His trainer wins 32% of the time the second race after a claim. And then I like number 3, Gemmo Rain. Gemmo Rain ran at Fairgrounds for the first time. He ran 4th by 3.5. He has the trainer that wins 23% of the claim races that he enters.
Well, you and I agree on the 7 and the 6. We differ. I have the 2 and the 4. The Looking High, Terry, is a horse that does show some pace at times. Moving back to dirt with a horse on a fast track, but I don't think it's fast today, but it might be, has 4 seconds in 14 races. And I expect when you look at those numbers in this particular horse that you're going to see the last time it moved from turf to dirt, there was an enormous jump in its speed figure. It went from a 62 on the turf to a 90 on the dirt. So I'm hoping to see similar kind of like spark out of Looking High. The other horse we disagree on, or we differ on, I don't know, so disagree, is the 4 horse, which is Ikati's Verve. That's a pretty cool name. I've never heard that before. This is a horse that's making its first start after a layoff. Some of the workouts are but the first start for Chris Hartman is a 20% angle, first after reclaim on 153 races. So that's a pretty big number. And I also like the fact that when you put Chris Hartman together with a jockey Orlando Mojica, that combination, they only win at 27%, which is not bad. In the money at 64%, still not bad. But they have a positive ROI. For every dollar you bet, you get $4 back. So that's pretty good in 11 races. So I'm always liking a positive ROI as well.
Yeah.
So, Terry, you used the first 4 races for your hot dog pick 4, if I remember, and you kind of forced it on both of us. So here we go. Our hot dog pick 4s, which is where we have to spend $20 or less on our pick 4s. Terry, you put the 8 and 7 in race 1. Well, tell us how you structured your ticket.
Well, I put the 8 and the 7 in the first race, and then in the second race, I used the 2, 5, 8, and 10. And then in the third race, I singled the 7, the best bet of the day. And then in the fourth race, I used the 2, 3, 7, and 8.
Yes, and for me, I wanted to get off to a little bit of a good start. So I went 3 deep in the first leg, 2, 8, and 7. Third in the second leg, looking for maybe a little price with that 2 horse, so 2, 8, and 5. I agree with Terry. Almost soloed the 7, but I always want to have, one of the things that we've experienced. I want to say learned, but the real life experience is when you have a horse that looks like a prohibitive favorite on paper, it ends up being a prohibitive favorite because everybody sees the same thing at the track. Instead of going off at 2-1, he goes off at 4-5 and ends up running 8th of 8 horses, right? We've seen that way too many times.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to have an alternative to the 7, and then I got the 3 and the 7 to wind up our hot dog pick 4s. That's the first 4 races at Fairgrounds, which must be what they start about 1 o'clock, all right, Eastern, so about noon overall.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Yes, indeed. Feliz tarde, Dios las bendiga, gran programa. Thank you. We appreciate that. I think he's saying we have a good program, Terry.
Oh, good.
I understand a little bit of Spanish. Probably I should take it because I feel like I can learn it pretty well. But in any case, let's go ahead and move on now to race number 5, Terry. This is where I did my box it up, Terry. I put together the perfect pedigree, which is a best bet over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. So you can head on over there today with Gypsy Soulmate, number 6, Custom Sierra, and Cipriano, the 5 horse. I wanted to use a horse that I thought had a really good chance to win, and which is perfect pedigree, and then back it up with some other horses that have some decent odds. So that way, if they come through, had a really nice one. Remember on Thursday, the last one that we did, I had a best bet that I mentioned was 7-5, and I was hoping that it would get beat by one of the higher price horses underneath, and it did. I think a $24 horse came in to win, and it was like a $39 exacta for $1 or something like that. So
yeah,
I'll take it, Terry. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great exacta.
Yes, I'm from the Terry School of Economics. Where else can you turn the $12 into $39 in a minute and a half?
That's right.
Race number 5, Terry. Tell us about your picks for race number 5, which is a 6 furlong claiming 12,500 race. Again, speed matters. You're probably looking for some speed horses here.
That's right. So I start out with a speed horse, Custom Sierra, number 6. His early speed helps his case. And if you look at the 2 races he's ran, the very first race he won by 9 1/4 lengths. Then he comes to Fairgrounds, and he ran second by 1 1/4 lengths. So
yes, and he was the 4-5 favorite.
That's absolutely true. So anyway, and then I like number 4, Grand Priority. Grand Priority is a closer, but he can also run on top. As you look back in May 22nd, he had a race where he broke on top. So he can do either way. He has a really high percent of the trainer, and the trainer wins 25% of the time after claiming a horse. So,
and indeed, making its third start off a layoff, which is always one of those classic angles. And the last time out, though, third off a layoff did lay back a little bit. But who else do you like?
Okay, I like number 2, Perfect Pedigree. He's got a high percentage trainer. He has a hot jockey on the last 7 days, has won 7 out of 17.
Yeah, Ray Lou's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's headed for the Jockey of the Year award, man.
That's right. Loves to run second, though. He's ran 8 times second out of 14 this year. So he'd be really a good horse to use in the exotics. Mm-hmm. And then I like number 5, Cipriano.
Yep.
Cipriano, yeah. He has the highest last speed rating. He ran 5th by 6 3/4, but he had a excuse. He was bumped in the stretch. And the race before that, he ran second. And so that's what I see.
Well, you and I agree on most of the horses here, except I have number 3, Gypsy's Soulmate, Terry. This is a horse that came off in its 5th try to finally break its maiden. Ordinarily, I'm not a big fan of horses breaking their maiden and then moving right into another race, but really not taking a huge step up in class. Last time the horse made a 2-race cycle, the second race was kind of a little bit of a backup. Same thing off of the first race, but I do like the fact that you see in this horse some of its best late pace figures. In fact, that last race where he did close from a little bit off the pace, and he bobbled at the start, you do see the most consistent numbers across the board from the early pace, the mid pace, and the late pace numbers. So that tells me the horse is in good form. I'm expecting to see another really good effort out of Gypsy's Soulmate. Race number 6, Terry, is a 1 mile and a 16th race. We're supposed to be on the turf. As you mentioned, they're off the turf. So this is one where we're also doing we're adding back in our prime rib pick 4s, Terry. So let me just throw up our prime rib pick 4s before we get into the picks. Here are our prime rib pick 4s for races 6, 7, 8, and 9. We both stayed under $100. Tell us we agree on the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 4. We have the race 7. I have the 2, 3, 5, and 6. You have the 2, 6, and 7. So we differ on the 7. 11, 8, and 6. We agree there. You have the 1, the 6, 7, and 9. I have the 1, 2, 7, and 6. So we disagree a little bit on a couple horses there. So let's go back and figure out why you like what you like and I like what I like. But here you can see our prime rib pick 4s, Terry. So
all right.
In race number 6, Terry, what do you like and why do you like them? We agree on the same horses here.
Okay, I like the number 5 Caramel Crush. Drops in class today. This is the 3rd race after a layoff, and the trainer wins 34% of the time when he does that. Now, he ran 5th by 4 1/4 last race, which seemed like a little bit of a downtrod. But the thing is, it was bumped early, and so I give it an excuse for that.
Yeah, and it also moved up in terms of its price in that race. It went from an $84,000 to $120,000 maiden race. And even though the horse did get bumped, it still put up some pretty good pace numbers across the board.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then I like number 3, Cash Rocket. Cash Rocket has the highest last speed rating, drops in class today, ran 4th by 2 3/4, but was 5 wide coming into the stretch. And then I like
so you 2. Also see with the 3 horse there, Terry, that it did have the highest last race speed figure, and another one that ran in a higher race with $115,000. So it's dropping in class there. It was the basically the 5-2 favorite, really a lukewarm kind of number there, Terry, for sure. But when you look at the late pace numbers on this horse relative to every other horse in the field, they're considerably better. So if late pace does bring the horse home, so to speak, then Cash Rocket should be the one charging hardest latest. And you're going to say that that's your next horse, right?
Actually, I can go with that one right now. Cash Rocket. Yeah, we were just talking about that one.
Uh-huh.
All right. So then my next horse is Sailor's Return, number 2.
Uh-huh.
He ran second versus similar last time, but it was on the turf. It's back on the dirt. So I think this horse may be better on the turf, but we'll see. It has a really good jockey. And of course, this is it's only ran once to fairgrounds, and his best turf speed. Well, it doesn't matter about that, so we won't even go there.
Yeah, well, it's making his third start off a layoff, Terry. When you look back at the last time the horse had a 3-race cycle, it showed some of its best early bursts that the horse has put together. You see a nice upgrade of 3 consecutive speed figure increases. Tells me the horse is trending in the right direction. So how are you going to finish it up with race number 4, right?
Yeah, number 4, Jimmy Dan. He finished third versus similar last race, but it was on the turf. But if you look at the one before that, that was on the dirt, finished third by 8. It's actually been in the money 4 out of 8 times this year. So
there's another horse that's making a third start off a layoff. Dallas Stewart hits that angle at about 20% of the time. Last time out, though, it did kind of take a little bit of a step back, third off a layoff. So hoping that you'll see it break that cycle, Terry. I do like the fact, again, that when you look at the internal race numbers last time out, the internal race numbers at the 2 furlong, the 4 furlong in the stretch, maybe not in the stretch, but in the 2 and 4 furlong numbers, you see improvement across the board. So I'm hoping Jimmy Dan can take that improvement straight to the finish line and into the winner's circle. Race number 7, Terry, you start with the 7. You have the 2, 6, 7, and 3. I have the 2, 6, 3, and 5. So we agree on 3 horses. Tell us what you like about the 7 horse, because I don't have that one in my case.
Okay, I like this horse because it switches to a high percentage trainer. The trainer in the 23% winning clip in the whenever he brings a horse back 90 days after being off 90 days. But I like the early speed this horse shows. It likes to break on top and or close to the top. And if you look at the speed ratings, it's improved the last 3 races, all 3 in a row. Of course, that was last August, but it has a pretty good workout on December 23rd and one on 15th of December in preparation for this race.
Yes, and the horse I have that you don't have is the 5 horse. Stuff's full of sugar. Probably very much a handful then, right?
Yeah.
Third off a layoff. That last race doesn't look as good on paper perhaps as it was. Because you do see, again, the internal numbers look pretty good there. The fractions were a little bit slower than the previous race. So I'm expecting third time off a layoff, the horse to show some improvement. And if you rewind back to its debut at Fairgrounds, the horse in the first race there ran one of its better speed figures, was outside, closed in, and did fairly well. So I'm expecting the closing effort from Steph's Full of Sugar to find its way into the money. Maybe not be your winner, Terry, but one horse in the third off a layoff on dirt where it has 2 of its wins in 6 races. Seems to be the right surface for Steph's Full of Sugar, and maybe these are the right conditions for Steph's Full of Sugar. Race number, so who else do you have in race number 7?
Number 6. Yeah, number 6, Spirited Beauties. Checks out a lot of the different boxes. Has a high percentage trainer, highest last speed rating. The trainer wins 28% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back. This horse has been the favorite the last 3 races in a row. And it has the best dirt speed among the today's starter, and it has a really good workout on December 27th, 48.3 for 4 breezing.
Was the favorite last time out, got beat 2 times across the Fairgrounds track. 3 times, with a couple of seconds in there with some of the best numbers at the Fairgrounds. Again, third start off a layoff. So I'm expecting to see the horse do pretty well. Last time out, it improved its speed figure and sense. Really nice workout to complement that race. I'm expecting to see a big effort from Spirited Beauty. Number 2 horse is your next pick, Terry. Why do you like it?
Hot Molly. I like the fact that it came back after being off since last April and ran a really good third here at Fairgrounds at 1.70 miles. And anyway, so the horse this year has been in the money 4 times, winning 2 times.
And I like the fact that it's second start off a layoff, looking for some improvement there. The numbers were pretty similar last time out, but if you look back to the race right before it headed to the bench in April, that late pace figure of 105, Terry, was just smoking. So if the horse can find that kind of late juice once again in this race, should be one that's charging very hard at the end. So that's why I'm kind of looking for a little bit of rewind back 1 race, Terry. And your final pick is the 3 horse, right?
Yeah, Vision of Wild Times. It's
that's
one
like a fraternity days.
Yeah, it's been pretty good since it came out and started its career. It's been in the money 5 out of 6 times, winning 2 of those. As a matter of fact, the last 2 races it won, and it's going for a hat trick. It's improved between in the last 2 races, and it has a fairly decent workout on December 24th. In preparation for this, it was 10th out of 51 workouts.
Yeah, I like the fact that this horse has put together what I call 5 high quality starts in a row. And that's just basically a horse for me that finishes either first, second, third, and it does so within a couple of lengths of the leader. It can finish beyond that, and still I consider it a high quality race, provided that the horse finishes within like 1 or 2 lengths of the leader as the winner. So 5 consecutive high quality races since its debut. Took some time off, and then I expect you're going to see a 6 quality race. Race number 8, Terry. You do have a horse here that was scratched out. Who do you want? Is there one that you wanted to put in there as a 4th pick?
Yeah, number 7, Lady Brielle. So that would be my my 4th pick. So anyway,
which, Grace, we agree on every single horse here. So let's start with the 11 horse.
Yes.
In race number 8, which is a 5.5 furlong race on the dirt now, because you mentioned they took it off the turf. The 11 horse, Terry, is Forsteria. Why do you like Forsteria? And that's my top pick too.
Oh, wow. Well, he's been in the money 8 out of 9 times. I mean, I can't say anything wrong there. He likes to either break on top and lead or come from close off the pace, which is an angle I like. And he has the highest last speed rating. He was the beaten favorite last. He was placed 4th last time because of disqualification.
Yeah, he won, but he didn't win.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he has a trainer that anytime he brings a beaten favorite back, wins 24% of the time.
Yeah, so. Godolphin horse, great ownership group right there for sure, Terry. If 2022 is anything like 2021 for Godolphin, Forsteria might be one to get him started, Terry. And then you mentioned his record, in the money, 8 out of 9. On a fast track, 5 out of 5 in the money, Terry, with 2nd place finishes. So that's the proverbial I'm due horse, but at the same time, it's probably the unquestionable one of those bridesmaid horses that always likes to hang light. So it's a question of, does he learn how to win, or does he continue to kind of hang on and finish 2nd, right?
Yep. So anyway, my 2nd choice then would be number 6, Awesome Treat. He comes in from Woodbine and drops in class for this. He ran kind of a disappointing race last time out, 9th by 11, but at the start, he was grabbed up at the start and had some problems there. Prior to that, he ran pretty good. He's got a lot of early speed.
Yeah, the only thing is his best performances came on that all-weather track up there, Terry. And now they're running on dirt. Usually I like the all-weather to turf angle a little bit better. That dirt debut at Churchill was easy. So hopefully you see a little bit better taking to the dirt at Fairgrounds. The workout that he had at Fairgrounds was only okay. Number 8 is your 3rd pick, my 2nd pick. That's Aunt Joey. Last time out, this horse, to our favorite, had the lead until the end, Terry, and then was placed 2nd through the disqualification. Went off at high odds, got to the front. They're going to go back to dirt now, Terry. The horse has not run as well on dirt as it did on the turf, but Deshaun Parker is a very aggressive rider. I expect that you're going to see, whether it's dirt or it's grass or all weather or on a bed of rocks, Deshaun is going to really get into this horse.
Yeah, and I like it for all the same reasons that you just said. And it looks like I think it can do better on the dirt than it's shown in the past.
Mm-hmm. So we both agree the 7 horse, Terry, is the 4th pick in this race. That's Lady Brielle. Last time out, did do better in her second start relative to her first start. 3rd career start, Terry, but this one's moving over to the dirt. Does have some dirt workouts that are middle of the road, maybe a little bit better than middle of the road. So offer a little bit of hope to go from turf to dirt and see if that's the key to finding some bigger checks.
Yeah, and I like it, Sire Tappet. Those horses always seem to do pretty well. So
they do indeed. All right, so to close out our first full card, kind of a little bit herky-jerky, I think, Terry, but we'll improve our delivery as the year goes by in terms of going through the full cards. Race number 9, Terry, is a maiden claiming $10,000 race, 1.70 miles on the main track. We agree again on these 4 horses. And the funny thing is, I don't get Terry's picks until he sends them in, and I do my picks long before that. So it's kind of interesting that we agree. No, you have the 9 horse. So we agree on 3 horses, the 1, the 7, and the 6. I have the 2 horses, my top pick. You don't even have the 2 horse. So Angry Bargy Buck. Last time out, ugly race, Terry, for Bargy Buck, but had a bad start. If you go rewind back 1 race, the horse has some pretty good early pace figures that are amongst the best in this field. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Angry Bargy Buck find his way towards the front or close to the front out of the gate.
Yeah, I see here, though, it has the best speed among today's starters, too.
So you already got the 6 horse, my 4th pick, as your top pick. Why is your 6 horse better than my 2 horse?
Well, I like the fact that it's switching jockeys and it's returning to the dirt. I think it does a lot better on the dirt than it did on the turf. So I like that. It's been in the money 4 out of 13 times and has, some decent workouts.
Yes, indeed. And then you have the 1 horse. We both like the 1 horse. You have him second. I have him third. Give us your thoughts on the 1 horse.
Well, he closed. He came in from Evelina Downs, and he ran.
And we're doing. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry I have to interrupt you, Terry. We're doing Fairgrounds. I apologize. I do have it on the graphics here. I just wanted to be able to put us both on the screen at the same time. So my apologies. Race number 9, Terry. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
That's all right. He comes in and runs at Fairgrounds the first time, and runs a really good second by 5.5 lengths. And then it was against similar horses. So I like the jockeys winning at a 20% clip at this meet. Mm-hmm. And it has a halfway decent workout. Not fantastic, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, I like the fact that Customize My Quest is making its second start off a layoff. And, if you followed us at all, I'm a big cycle guy. I like to look to see how horses do previously in similar situations. I believe like humans, horses are creatures of habit. And what they've done before, and I know the stock market lawyers will tell you past performance is no guarantee of future performance, blah, blah, blah. But nobody's investing money in mutual fund managers that lose 25% a year, right, Terry?
That's right.
Right. They all want to go with the guys who know how, and the girls who know how to make money. So this horse last time out, in its only other 2 race cycle, Terry, had a significant improvement. Last time out, ran the highest last race speed figure. If it improves significantly, then it's going to be hard to beat. You have the number 9 as your 4th pick, Terry. What do you like about the 9?
Yeah, this guy can fly, and he was really lost all chance last race. Mm-hmm. He pinched off at the start, and so I think that the longer distance is going to help improve his chances.
Indeed. All right, well, that wraps up our first full card, Terry. What did you think about that?
It was fun, but like you say, we're going to get better at it. Take the first time, so we had to go pretty fast.
Yes, indeed. Well, I think maybe the thing is just that we'll probably have to have we'll figure it out, how to make it go a little bit quicker, yet be insightful at the same time. Maybe we can put some notes together over on the summary when we put them up at horseracingtoday.net. Terry, speaking of horseracingtoday.net, that's where you can find Terry's best bet every single day. So this is the race Terry likes the most. It was race number 8, right? And
that's correct.
Is there a scratch in here? The 3 horse?
There is. The 3 is scratched.
So you're going to go 11, 3, and then if I had to guess, I don't have to guess very hard. I can just go back to here and I guess that off the 3 horse, instead of the 3, you're going to go with the, oops, hold on a second. I pulled up the wrong one. You're going to go with the 11, 6, 8. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes. And we've already talked about the 11. It's won 2 out of her last 3 races. And she won the last race at Fairgrounds on the turf. Of course, we're not on the turf today. Uh-huh. Her best, she's been the fastest among today's starters. And then Awesome Treat comes in from Woodbine after getting a bad break in her last race and drops in class to try the Fairgrounds for the first time. And 2 races back, she ran a good third on an all-weather track. And then number 8, Aunt Joey,
Mm-hmm.
ran second versus similar in her last race. She has a good workout on December 28th at 36.3 breezing. She was the 5th best out of 12.
All right, so this would be something different. Let's just recap we won't recap. I'll just put up, these are all fairgrounds, all of the different picks that we have today. So here we have all of our picks at fairgrounds. Terry has another horse in race number 8. So let me bring that back up again. So I don't have it in the sheet yet. So race number 8, Terry also has the 7 horse as one of his selections. So here's our full selections for fairgrounds, Terry.
Yep.
And then we did our hot dog pick fours in race numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's the hot dog pick fours. We also did prime ribs, so much bigger pick fours at the fairgrounds. In the second pick four of the day, the late pick four. So there's our prime rib pick fours. Our box it up, Terry. You did race 2. I did race 5 again. $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, and 10-cent superfecta box. Just to go back, our best bet of the day, we both agree, is the 7 horse in race number 3.
That's right.
Sorry, I had to hit the cough mute button there for a second. After
right.
effects of the of the whatever I had. So today, the Mahoning Valley over at Guaranteed Chip Sheets is the free track of the day. They're probably running right now. But you can see all you got to do is register. Head on over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. You'll get all Mahoning Valley picks for free. As you see in race number 1, El Valor is the one of 3 best bets of the day there, Terry. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this first day of 2022 with a new format and a little bit of, I think we got to find some ways to speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I just want to answer Tom Carley and tell him, yes, we've changed the time to 9 o'clock my time, or what I guess that's 11 o'clock your time. I don't know exactly where Tom is. So.
Tom is in, I think, a little bit outside of St. Louis. So
okay, so yeah. Anyway, and other than that, like I said, we'll get this down better. I think we did fairly good for the first time. We got through it pretty quickly.
I agree.
And it was a little bit of a scramble this morning with the scratches coming just before the show, trying to get that in. I know that you worked pretty hard at it. I really appreciate what you do, Rich, for this show. So
thank you. I appreciate that. You appreciate it, Terry. But yeah, Tom, we decided to start a little bit earlier because we were looking at some of the numbers in like on YouTube. We were looking at the numbers on the website, looking at the numbers on Facebook to see like when people are showing up and looking for information. And there's tending to start to show up around 10 o'clock Eastern. 10 o'clock my time. So we wanted to move it up an hour. Any earlier than that, Terry's still sleeping. We don't want to get him out of bed that early. Rumpelstiltskin's over there. But so that's why we moved it up an hour. We're going to keep it up an hour, and then we're going to continue to do full sheets, full tracks going forward. Tomorrow's full track, Terry, is Parks, if I remember correctly, right?
Correctly, yeah. Correct.
And then we'll do our fly fours, we'll do our pick fours, our best bets, and that kind of stuff. Because we figured, we do the pick 4, but we wanted to do every track. That way we can talk about more horses, more opportunities to find exactas, trifectas, rolling doubles, rolling pick 3s, and kind of add a little bit to whatever you're thinking about doing that day at that track of choice. And then on Saturdays, instead of going live for a whole card, Terry and I are going to pick some of the biggest stakes races, and we're going to cover the stakes races on Saturday and get them up. So that way, you can maybe at some of the races with the bigger pools, have some thoughts about what we like about some of the horses in the big stakes. So we're changing a couple things. If there's anything you'd like to see us do, it's a community show. Like we want to make sure that we're bringing to you what you want to hear, right? That's the end of the whole idea behind Horse Racing Show here. If there's anything you want to see us do, put it on our Facebook at Horse Race Today, on Twitter at Horse Race Today, and the 2 is the number 2. Or you can hit me up directly at Gmail at gtsrichb@gmail.com. Again, that's gtsrichb@gmail.com. Not quite sure what that means, Terry. Sometimes when we put up things in different languages and we go back and we put them in the translator, they're not very friendly at times. But I'm sure that this one is. So, but in any case. All right, Terry, any final thoughts before we get up and out of here this Monday?
Well, I think we're starting a new year, 2022, and I'm thinking that it's going to be a better year for everybody. I'm really hoping that that's true. Hope everybody stays safe and healthy. and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. January is going to be a great month. We declared it Ladies Month. We're going to have 4 wonderful women come on the Players Edge podcast, starting this Thursday with Rose Naprovic is how she pronounces her last name, right, Terry?
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a great show. We're going to talk about fairground races. We also have on Chantel Sutherland. She'll be on, I think, next week. And then in Claudia Sperano from Gulfstream Park will be our guest for the Pegasus. So it's going to be an excellent week. And we have a lot of big things planned for horseracing.net in 2022. So you're going to want to make sure you check that out. Until then, Terry, we hope you have a fantastic Monday, Terry. And may all of our picks today at Fairgrounds and all of your picks wherever you're playing end up
in the winner's circle.
Hit the button a little too early, Terry. We'll see you all tomorrow.
All right.